Welcome back to Open Your Eyes. We are moving things along, and now I'm joined by Monisha Hyde. She is a Miss Universe hopeful, and she's here to share a little bit of what her journey has been like, including sharing what her passion and her advocacy has been, supporting persons in vulnerable communities that are affected by crime and violence here in Belize. Monisha, welcome back, girl.
Oh, good morning and good morning, Belize. Thank you for having me.
You know, moments ago, or a few weeks ago, we had you here talking about health and fitness and
yes.
Something that's also a passion of yours as well.
Yes, that's
But
correct.
we want to make a focus this morning on one of your more recent endeavors, which has been pageantry.
Yes.
A lot of people have been following you. It's been super inspiring what you've been posting on social media, but I think more specifically the cause that you are championing for, which is a reduction in crime and violence here in Belize.
Yes.
Before we get into all the pageant fun and details there, let's talk a bit about what this cause has looked like for you and how close it hits to home.
So for me, it's a very personal experience. I lost my dad to gun violence when I was 12. So I know the struggles of like championing education and like finding that balance with your normal life and grieving from such trauma. And I know how hard it is for young people to like get out of the hardships. So that is why I am here to uplift them, to show them like I did that so they can do it too.
You know, your story paints a parallel to what we've also been seeing taking place where intergenerational trauma is concerned. When we think of crime and violence and how it affects certain communities and families in general, it could go one way or another. You present a success story, but I have to ask you about other scenarios that also take place where we see intergenerational trauma add to the violence that we continuously report on. Do you see that being a case?
Yes, it is. It's very prevalent here in Belize. A lot of our youth coming from marginalized communities are more prone to join gangs and end up in these type of situations, which increases violence here in Belize.
You've been able to go out in your community and various other communities and document, which I have to say I'm very impressed with,
Thank you.
the feedback from community members on how crime and violence affects them, from what they've seen, from what they hear. You've been able to speak to people highlighting just hearing gunshots and how that affects them and their sense of safety within their community. What has been your reaction to the findings that you've heard so far?
So coming from the communities, people are tired. They're restless about the gun violence happening in their communities. And they're saying that it's mostly coming from youth, young people. Young people are the ones that are a part of these activities. And they're not able to sleep at night, someone said. They're not able to sleep because of all of these crime and violence happening in Belize. For instance, me, when I was growing up, I grew up in Gostong, and I can remember hearing gunshots all the time, and it became so normal to me.
You become desensitized.
Yes, and that is not how a child should be raised.
Yeah. But when you think of solutions, I imagine it's an even more challenging conversation because there are many different projects and proposals put forward to try to find a solution when we think of social activities coming from the government. And now you present an opportunity to put an even bigger spotlight on that through your own platform, and now hopefully an even bigger platform if you are given the opportunity to represent Belize on that international stage. But I want to take things back a bit. Looking at the investment that is being put in from the government side, you've also been able to sit down with the Commissioner of Police, Dr. Richard Rosado. Do you think that enough is being done? And if not, based on the interactions that you've had, what do you think is needed to improve this situation?
Well, we do have interventions in place, but I feel like we can do more. Starting from early childhood. This is why I focus on education as well, to invest in our children from now, lead them in a way that keep them active when it comes to reading and keeping their minds focused. And this prevents gun violence in a kind of way. also, when it comes to gang leaders and members, I've spotlighted the LIU, the Leadership Intervention Unit, and they have interventions in place here in Belize that can help these individuals or people from marginalized communities experiencing violence to give them a second chance at life. They would provide skills, training, different trades, send them back to school, provide them with a stipend to, help in some kind of way. So there is help, but we just need the public to know more about it and for them to use it.
I have to ask you a question, Monisha, that might be more on the controversial side, simply because we've all been divided on this particular question when it comes to finding a solution to the violence taking place, and that is where the state of emergency is concerned. Yeah. Do you believe that that is effective?
It is effective to a certain extent, but I feel like that is not solving the real problem, because whenever these individuals are released, it's the same thing. Like, it's a cycle. It goes right back into the same thing that sent them into the state of emergency in the first place. So I think we need something more proactive and really tackle the issue from the root. Like, what is causing the violence? Why are these individuals acting this way or behaving this way? So it has a lot to do with mental health as well. We need to invest in that area for these individuals.
Now I go back to where I started. You're one of the success stories coming out of being heavily impacted by gun violence. You spoke of your father. I believe on one of your videos that you posted online, even your brother most recently. Let's take things more to a more positive side and highlight how you've been able to use your platform and your story to connect with people since being on this journey through pageantry. What has that been like?
So the support has been amazing. I was so shy to put out that video of me being vulnerable, and I got a lot of positive feedback. People were so inspired by it. And a lot of them were like, oh my gosh, I've been through the same thing. I lost my brother, I lost my uncle. And they're using my story as an example of hope that, they can rise as well from these situations.
Now, you are multifaceted. You are advocating for the reduction of crime and violence, but you're also very much into health and fitness. I believe you are a pharmacist by profession.
Yes, I am.
And so you have a lot on your plate. What has the entire experience been like in preparation for this? I imagine it takes an entire team.
Yes, it is.
How do you go about preparing for something like this?
So honestly, it has been very busy and very challenging. However, having a team really helps me to stay grounded and true to my values. And being disciplined, of course, it all comes down to a routine and keeping things in place, checking them as I go along. For now, I'm not able to fully commit to being a pharmacist, something that I love to do, but I will get right back into that when the pageant is over.
And the pageant is coming up at the end of this month, and so if you want to really see these ladies shine, apparently there's a pageant week, which is next week.
Yes.
What are some of the activities that we will be looking forward to come next week leading into pageant night?
We will be having the meet and greet Tuesday, the 24th of June. This will be at the Grand Resort Hotel in partnership with Madisco.
So we get to meet everyone.
Yes, you get to meet all the delegates, and we have tickets for sale, and so that we have that, and then we have a couple dinners with the girls and getting to know each other better, and then we have several meets with different people in government.
This, I imagine, has been just a unique experience for this. This is your first pageant that you're taking part in, yes?
It is.
What would you say to someone who might have been a bit more skeptical on, what pageants represent? I think I've had this conversation with a delegate before where pageantry was once just looked at as having a pretty face on a podium or a pretty face representing an organization. Do you believe that it's actually as impactful as, persons who've been in there actually say it is?
Pageantry is quite impactful as of today. I mean, as for me, I'm using this platform to advocate for gun violence prevention and using health and wellness to combat that, and education. So it's quite impactful because I know I'm already making a change in a lot of people's lives. So it's not just a pretty face. It does play a part, but it's not the most of it. The most of our beauty is from within. How passionate, how kind we are to people around us, and how true we are to ourselves.
All right. Well, as we wind down this conversation, I know that you have a T-shirt. I believe this
Yes.
is one of the slogans that you've been using.
Yeah, so this is the name of my advocacy, Healing Beyond the Hurt, and it has education, health, and gun violence prevention.
Yes.
So this shirt was used for the walk that I held on May 31st. It was a walk for gun violence prevention and spreading awareness here in Belize City. And with the funds, we're able to contribute to a tuition. So every shirt purchase, it helps to fund a tuition.
All right. And of course, if we
Yes.
are moved by this, we can continue to follow your journey on social
Yes, for
media.
sure.
I understand that you brought a banner, but we do not have time to highlight that. Can you explain what it was?
So the banner has been around countrywide. I had people pledge to end gun violence, students. I think you saw me with the commissioner of police.
Yes.
Even he was being a good example of ending gun violence. So what we do is we pledge end gun violence, and we place our handprints on the banner.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Monisha, all the best to you. I'm really excited about Pageant Week. Of course, we also encourage you guys to continue to follow the journeys of these ladies who are vying for the next Miss Universe Belize title. We wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
Alrighty, we take our final break, but don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we will be chatting things up with the Belize Special Olympics and their introduction of fencing. Can you fence? We'll find out when we come back.